Hey everybody, I'm Daniel from Spacedock, and we're all very busy working on the SOJOURN at the moment, so I thought I'd take a break from the full scripted ship videos just to recommend a sci-fi property that I've always enjoyed for many years, that I think has gone without the attention it deserves from a large portion of the sci-fi community, and that is the X series of space simulators by Egosoft, a German PC game developer. Now, I'm not going to lie, this game series is not particularly easy access or mainstream. It's got an extremely complicated interface and requires rather a large time sink, and there's a serious learning curve. So I am basically suggesting that you sacrifice hundreds of hours of your life, but if this is the kind of thing you enjoy, I think this is probably the best example you'll find of it. Essentially, it's a completely modular, changing universe based on player action. There are plot lines in some of the games, though they mostly serve to introduce you to the gameplay and get you some ships and equipment and money. Generally, the objective is to set up businesses or guilds, build space stations, farm resources, play the economy, and eventually become prosperous enough to start building an actual player empire and affecting the galaxy on a large scale, taking over systems and such. The sense of progression really is perfect in these games. You can start out flying a sublight trade run, going between the same few space stations again and again, and making a small amount of money in your one freighter, or doing scout missions and combat missions in a small fighter or something, and then slowly build your way up until you get yourself a corvette, and then get yourself a larger ship, and then get yourself some more ships and people to fly them, build a station, get some cargo transporters to supply the station, and program them all to do their own thing while you're not around. Then you can start to divert your own attention towards escorting them or checking out new areas of territory to exploit. Generally, the way the game world develops organically allows you to see opportunities and take advantage of them. You might notice that a particular area is low on a particular resource and then take efforts to make money out of this situation, basically. Eventually, it does all lead to giant, large-scale capital ship battles if that's what you want to do, and it just all feels quite a lot more satisfying when you know that your efforts have allowed you to pay for every single fighter that is docked on your carrier, etc. Just to break down some of the factions and the setting, basically it takes place in something called the Commonwealth of Planets, which is a large area of space connected by ancient space jump gates. It's implied that the systems are actually all over the galaxy, widely spread apart, but they serve as a small region of space and a community because of the gates. There's a primary human faction called the Argon Federation, who are essentially descended from a human fleet that got caught away from Earth at one point and separated from the original Terran population. There's the Boron, who are a kind of squid-like amphibian science-focused race, and they're actually a space monarchy. We don't get to see many of those. Always nice to see that. It's the Kingdom of Boron, as they're called. There's the Paranid, who are essentially hyper-religious, kind of Covenant-esque, xenophobic people. There's the Split, who, I'm not going to lie, are basically just discount Klingons. And there's the wonderful Taladi, who are essentially just Ferengi, but lizards. And the actual nation that represents their entire species is a company, the Taladi Company, which again is a type of government we don't often see in science fiction. The accuracy of this sentiment varies between the games, but generally speaking, I think the map size is just about perfect in the X games. It's not an endless procedurally generated universe with the depth of a puddle like Elite Dangerous or other similar titles. Every system has been carefully level designed, and the travel times between them have been carefully planned out to create an immersive experience, but it is still a vast and expansive universe that you will need hundreds of hours to explore properly, and probably won't need to explore all of in any one given playthrough. So it always feels like there's more to see, and it's got a lot of depth going on. The game is fairly slowly paced, but this is aided by the wonderful visuals and also the fantastic soundtrack by Alexei Zakharov, which is a deeply underappreciated set of sci-fi soundtracks that really gives the whole universe this wonderful feel to it. I started playing the series a very long time ago, and I started with X2 The Threat, which was the one that really got me hooked. But really, if you want to start the series from the original X Beyond the Frontier, and you're willing to put up with the fact that it has aged somewhat, then that's certainly a perfectly justifiable place to start. I think it's pretty universally agreed that the high point of the series is what's called the Terran Pack, which is X3 Reunion, X3 Terran Conflict, and X3 Albion Prelude, although mostly it's just Terran Conflict and Albion Prelude that people really, really love. More recently, there has been X Rebirth, which wasn't very well liked, and X4 Foundations, which I've enjoyed quite a lot. It's a different experience from the Terran Conflict and Albion Prelude era, and it's a little bit more streamlined for new people, so you might want to check out X4 if you're not really into this kind of super complicated stuff. But personally, my favorite entries are Terran Conflict and Albion Prelude. All of the X games are available on Steam in the X Superbox collection. It's normally very, very affordable. I should clarify that I'm not sponsored by Egosoft or Steam or anything here. I just think that this is a really fantastic sci-fi world that deserves a little bit more publicity. And since this is Spacedock, I should also make the point that there is some fantastic ship design in this series. There's some bad stuff as well, and some average stuff, and it varies up and down throughout the series, but there really are some wonderful gems in there, and a great set of unique design styles for the various factions. And honestly, I just have to say how much I love all of the various little idiosyncrasies of this game series, because it's made by this incredibly dedicated small German team, and the ship's computer, called Betty, is like this text-to-speech machine, and you get used to hearing all of its fun little weird pronunciations of things.
Ladies and gentlemen, station administration would like to remind you to keep children away from the airlocks.
And there's a little bit of weird dialogue that's obviously been translated from German and strange voice acting.
In this program, we look at the cock war and ask the question, why? Here in this vid, we witness the first of the cock's ruthless assaults on our civilization.
Sometimes enemy pilots will taunt you in combat by saying, "You've got the flying skills of a large asteroid," which I think is a wonderful line. And let us never forget this fantastic line of dialogue.
Prepare a disco immediately.
So for more of that and just an interesting, underappreciated, niche sci-fi setting, go ahead and check out the X series. The best games in the series are almost a decade old now, so you can basically play them on a Casio calculator, no need to worry about system requirements really. And if you do check out the series and you've not played it before now, go ahead and tweet at SpacedockHQ and let me know what you think, because I'd love to hear the opinions of some new people to this franchise. And let me know in the comments below if you're already a fan of the X series, and if maybe you'd like to hear me talk about some of the ship designs or something in future. Thanks for listening everyone, this is Daniel from Spacedock, signing off. Thank you for watching Spacedock. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please do check out the links on the screen right now or in the description below for our Patreon and channel membership services. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving our team and our equipment and allowing us to put together bigger and more exciting video projects for you guys on the channel.